Wait till you guys hear this story about what God did on day 2 of sharing the gospel every single day for a year. So I was going down the street and God told me to turn down to Buc-ee's. I didn't really need anything at Buc-ee's, but I decided to follow what God was telling me to do. So as I'm walking in, I see a woman and God highlights her, and I just ask her how she's doing, and I start sharing just, what God's been teaching me about, Joseph and Joseph interpreting dreams and things like that. Well, this lady asked me if she can pull me aside, and she starts sharing a story about how she had a terminally ill daughter who was dying and was in a coma, and she kept having this dream that God was giving her about this young lady running into her arms, and it was like she was in the Garden of Eden or heaven, and she just felt like this dream was telling her that her daughter was going to die. She had this dream over 39 times, and she was begging God to stop giving her this dream because she felt like it was a negative thing. Well, eventually God quit giving her that dream and started giving her another one, which was involving basically her daughter now playing ball with her in this heaven area. Well, her daughter would eventually wake up from the coma, and a couple years later she would pass away. Well, something that she was really struggling with was understanding how loved she was by God and why God would allow her daughter to suffer this way and not to be here anymore. Well, the Lord spoke to me and told me that the way she had interpreted her initial dream was incorrect. She had taken the dream of her daughter running into her arms as a negative thing, that she was dying. See, but what God told me is that he was actually speaking to her to let her know that there's gonna be a day where in heaven her daughter's gonna have no more pain, no more aching, no more issues, and she's gonna be able to run into her mom's arms again. I shared the dream interpretation just like Joseph did with the cupbearer in prison, and the woman began to bawl. She began to cry, and she cried overwhelmingly. And it's kind of crazy because here we are in the middle of a story and she's bawling, and it looks like I made this woman cry and everything like that, and she's just thanking me profusely. And I just tell her, God loves you, God sees you, and I know right now you're struggling to believe it. Right now you're struggling to believe that God sees you and He's with you throughout this struggle, but He loves you. He loves you more than you could ever know. And it encouraged her, it blessed her, and she started describing how she's been looking in the mirror and she can't love herself or feel like she's good enough. But in this moment, God spoke to her. And in the middle of crying in the middle of Buc-ee's, God was able to minister to a brokenhearted woman who just recently lost her daughter. See, that's the significance and the power of being available for tiny divine detours of where do you want me to go, God? See, day 2 ended up with a woman finally finding the love of God and God healing hurts and pains from her past that have lasted years. Have a blessed one, y'all.